It sprinted on two legs, tail whipping pines like a rope. Those eyes, two red coals staring right at me. I emptied a 38. It just laughed, I swear. Then the scream like metal on glass, tearing through the night.
A hiss of wind, a twig snap, then an unnerving silence. A silence that just hangs there, heavy with something unknown. Tonight, we're tracing that same unsettling sound, that same primal fear, from the frigid expanse of the Alaskan tundra, all the way down to the misty, hollowed-out hills of the Smokies. We're asking one critical question. What if the monster, lurking in those shadows, the one that makes your skin crawl, isn't the lumbering, elusive Bigfoot? What if it's something entirely different? Smaller, yes, but undeniably faster, far more aggressive, and arguably a whole lot nastier. Welcome back to Cryptid Field Guide. Get ready. This one might just keep you up tonight. Long before any modern headlines screamed about strange beasts in the woods, before settlers even pushed west, the Atna Athabascans, indigenous people of Alaska, spoke in hushed tones of the Setieni, they called them, the tailed ones. Imagine, if you will, elders gathered around a crackling fire, the smoke curling up into the vast Alaskan night, their voices low as they recounted tales of hairy, bipedal humanoids. These weren't benign spirits or gentle forest guardians. No, the Setieni were described as powerful, dangerous beings with exceptionally long, whip-like tails. They were said to raid fish camps, snatching vital resources and, most terrifyingly, carry off children. Their lairs? Smoke-filled limestone caves, deep within the unforgiving landscape. Seasonal storytelling wasn't just entertainment. It was a living history, a vital warning. One particularly grim legend tells of brave Atna hunters who, pushed to their limits by the Setieni's relentless depredations, managed to trap the last known band inside a cliff cavern. They stacked spruce at the mouth, creating an impenetrable barrier. And then, with heavy hearts and steely resolve, they lit it. The howls that seeped out from that inferno, the oral histories insist, weren't quite human, not quite animal. They were something else entirely, a sound that transcended known biology and echoed deep in the soul. When the smoke finally cleared, and the brave hunters dared to approach, no bodies remained. Nothing but a sharp, acrid musk, a scent that, even today, some claim still clings to certain valleys after the first snows, a lingering reminder of a primal terror. Now, just across the ridge from the Atna, their Tlingit neighbors tell equally compelling stories of the Kushtaka, shape-shifting otter, men, creatures of spirit and trickery. But the Atna were insistent. Their Setieni were flesh and blood, not ethereal beings. They were real, tangible, and utterly dangerous, even in broad daylight. The lesson, passed down through generations, was clear and stark. Tales meant trouble. These aren't just quaint old stories. They are the deep roots of a cryptid legend, showing us that the fear of a bipedal, tailed primate is woven into the very fabric of North American folklore, long before the first Europeans set foot on these shores. Fast forward many centuries and many miles south, to the early 1900s. Here, in the rugged, unforgiving terrain of the Appalachian Mountains, and across the rolling, mysterious Ozark hills, a new chapter in the Devi Monkey saga began to unfold. Settlers, huddled around hog-killing fires, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames, swapped tales that mirrored those ancient Atna warnings. They called these terrifying creatures devil monkeys. Imagine the scene: the crackle of the fire, the distant hoot of an owl, and then someone would lean in and describe a beast with a baboon-like face, its tail impossibly long, said to be as thick and sinewy as a wagon trace. But these weren't just mischievous primates. Oh no. The devil monkeys of Appalachian and Ozark lore were pure malevolence. They were fond of tearing milk cows open, not for sustenance, but seemingly for sport, drinking the foamy blood before the farm dogs could even bark a warning. Ozark hill folk, with their own unique brand of wilderness wisdom, added even more chilling details. They claimed these beasts could sour moonshine with nothing more than a malevolent look, call up dense ground mist to disorient travelers, or, most insidiously, mimic a woman's scream, a desperate, heart-wrenching cry that would lure unsuspecting men off the safety of the trails and into the waiting darkness. Newspapers, ever eager for a sensational story, even printed the phrase "devil monkey" as early as 1934. That year, a preacher in McDowell County, North Carolina, a man of God no less, claimed a tailed imp had rocked his cabin walls violently for half the night. His congregation, and indeed many readers, initially scoffed, perhaps a nervous laugh to ward off the chill of the unknown. But then, livestock started dying in gruesome ways, gutted, dismembered, with strange tracks left behind. The laughter quickly died down, replaced by a growing unease. These weren't just campfire stories anymore. They were becoming part of the lived, terrifying reality for those living on the fringes of civilization, a stark reminder that the wilderness held secrets far older and more dangerous than anyone cared to admit. The devil monkey in these frontier tales wasn't just an animal. It was a force of nature, a harbinger of dread, a creature that embodied the untamed, fearsome aspects of the wild. Now, let's jump forward to a specific, terrifying incident. May 15th, 1959. It was midnight in Pike County, Indiana. Ruby Apsher, a farmer's wife, was startled awake by a blood-curdling shriek from her collie, followed by an immediate, unnatural silence. Her heart pounding, she cautiously stepped onto her porch, peering into the moonlit yard. What she saw next would haunt her for the rest of her life. Something black and crouched, something impossibly agile, sprang from the roof of her farmhouse. It landed upright, a dark, muscular silhouette against the night sky, and then sprinted bipedally across the yard, its long, powerful tail arching behind it like a sinister question mark. It vanished into the tree line as quickly as it appeared. The next morning, the horror was palpable. 11 of Ruby's chickens lay dead, their rib cages ripped open, their hearts inexplicably gone. Sheriff deputies were called, and what they found only deepened the mystery. Tracks. 4 distinct toes, claw marks almost 2 inches long, and an astonishing stride of 48 inches, all clearly made by a creature moving on 2 feet. This wasn't a bear, not a dog, not anything they recognized. Over the next week, the reports flooded in. 23 distinct sightings from adjoining counties, each one describing a creature eerily similar to Ruby's terrifying encounter. A muscular, tail-swinging primate, bounding across rural roads, or glaring with unnerving intensity from the dark recesses of barn lofts. A posse was quickly formed, a desperate attempt to track and capture whatever was terrorizing the community. But even the most seasoned hunting dogs, usually eager for a trail, whimpered and refused to follow the scent. By June, a series of heavy rains washed away any remaining prints, and the sightings abruptly ceased. The case, unsolved and deeply unsettling, cemented itself firmly into regional lore. Now, let's catapult ourselves into the 21st century. To June 19th, 2021, at 9:15 p.m. in the quiet town of Danville, New Hampshire. Dean Bailey, the town's dedicated volunteer fire chief, was meticulously washing Engine 2 at the fire station when a frantic passerby yelled about seeing a black baboon loping alongside Route 11. Initially skeptical, Bailey and 2 other bystanders watched, utterly stunned, as a creature roughly 5 feet tall galloped on its hind legs, its powerful forearms pumping rhythmically, a thick tail held straight behind it for balance. It crossed the 2-lane highway in just 3 astonishing bounds and then vanished into a dense cornfield. The descriptions from all witnesses locked into a chilling consistency. A dog-shaped muzzle, erect ears, and a reddish glare from its eyes, caught momentarily in a passing headlight. Police, taking the reports seriously, immediately combed the fields. What they found wasn't an animal, but definitive evidence of its passage. Snapped corn stalks, forming a clear lane where the creature had pushed through, and a single, distinct, palm-shaped track measuring a full 6 inches wide. Over the next 9 days, the beast was seen by 9 additional civilians, each account adding another layer to the growing mystery. One particularly harrowing report came from a mother who claimed it swiped at her minivan, leaving a 6-inch scratch in the paint, a tangible, undeniable mark. Local game wardens, trying to offer a rational explanation, floated the theory of a feral macaque. But a quick check confirmed no zoos in the area reported any missing stock. By July, as mysteriously as they began, the sightings ceased. The legend, however, was cemented. When we talk about North American cryptids, Bigfoot often dominates the conversation. But let's be clear. The devil monkey is a distinctly different beast. A smaller, faster, and arguably much more aggressive player in the cryptid game. From the ancient, smoke-filled caves of the Atna Athabascans in Alaska to the suburban cornfields of New Hampshire, the reports of the devil monkey share a spine-chilling consistency. We're talking about a tailed, bristled primate, seemingly imbued with an aggressive, almost malevolent disposition towards humankind. It leaves behind a trail of carnage, from gutted livestock to terrified witnesses, and then, as if a ghost, it melts back into the forest, disappearing like night runoff into the soil. Next time you're out on a lonely trail, perhaps after the first snow, and you catch a whiff of something musky, something like wet dog and sulfur, don't just dismiss it as a trick of the dark. Ask yourself, is it merely the wind playing games, or is the tail still out there, swinging like a noose in the wind, waiting just beyond the edge of your perception? If you've seen something you can't explain, something that fits the description of the devil monkey, don't keep it to yourself. Drop a detailed comment below. This channel maps every report, helping us piece together this terrifying puzzle. And please, share this episode with that friend who swears they heard a woman scream in the woods, even though no one else was around. Subscribe for more Cryptid Field Guide. And remember, always keep to the path. But for goodness sake, watch the trees. You never know what might be watching you.